Today, we are going to talk about traits.
Traits are physical attributes or patterns of behavior that are relatively stable across time and across situations. So, hair color is a really good example of a trait. Hair color is relatively consistent throughout our lifespan, right? Our hair does not change color from hour to hour, from day to day, from week to week, month to month, and year to year. Now, that's not to say that our hair color never changes. I was born with really bright blonde hair, and now my hair is much darker. As I get older, it will turn gray. So, across the lifespan, we see changes in hair color. Also, my hair changes color throughout the year, right? So in the winter it's darker, and in the summer when I'm out in the sun it gets a little bit lighter. So there's a little bit of fluctuation. That's not to say that when something's consistent it has to be the exact same all the time. We see little changes, but it is broadly consistent throughout across time and across situations. That's what we mean by a trait. We can contrast that with something like hunger. Hunger is not a trait. Hunger does change from day to day, from hour to hour, and literally from minute to minute, right? You can be starving 1 minute, and then 5 minutes later, you can be so full that you never want to move again. So hunger is much more, it changes much more quickly, and so that would not be considered a trait, whereas something like hair color is relatively stable, so it would be. We're not interested in physical traits. We're not talking about physical traits today. We're talking about personality traits. These are patterns of behavior, a consistent pattern of behavior where people tend to act the same way across time and across situations. An example of this is conscientiousness, and we'll talk more about what conscientiousness is, but you can just think about it as neatness. That we all know people that are really neat, and their house is really well put together, and their car is always clean, and their desk is very well organized, and everywhere they go they put things in order and they are organized. That's conscientiousness. It is a pattern of behavior that cuts across time and across situations. That's what we mean by personality traits. So why do we care about personality traits? Personality traits, the cool thing about them is that they allow us to predict the future. The point of a pattern is that you can give me the beginning of a pattern and I can tell you what the end of it is. That a pattern is something that recurs. So we can do this with personality traits as well. If I know how someone behaved in the past, if I know what these traits are, then I can predict what they will do in the future. And predicting the future is always a good thing. In this case specifically, we can use personality traits to predict who's going to be successful at what type of job, who's going to like what type of job. And if you're in a management or leadership position and you have to delegate tasks, understanding people's personalities is very useful for that.